Hello everybody, I'm Jimmy Fantastic and this is my Black Orc NAF / arena / setups guide for Black Orcs. So yeah, NAF is tabletop style tournaments, and also we've got Norsk Arena here in season 7 of Blood Bowl 3. And this is essentially, you know, what tabletop tournaments, NAF style tournaments are all about. You can see they've got different tiering, so Black Orcs are in tier 3 there with 1170 cash allowed, 7 primaries plus a secondary. So they're getting quite a buff compared to the tier 1 teams, you know, and that helps, you know, kind of balance things a little bit and encourage anybody to turn up with Black Orcs when they could just turn up with Orcs instead. So, you know, they're actually getting, what, 80 more TV than Orcs, so some people might do that. So if you're playing them on tabletop, you're going to look for, you know, tournaments where you get a bigger edge with them if you want to use them. And this is what I came up with. Blood Bowl 3 now allows you to roster inducements, which is great, and they do get 50k bribes. So, you know, only taking one of those. It was hard to fit in more. I guess could drop a reroll and have 2, but I quite like 3 rerolls. You know, things are going to get desperate. You're going to have to make rushes. Your team is so slow. I would generally just prefer lizard men in a NAF style event, but what are you going to do if you're doing these? You're going to foul, right? So you've got the sneaky git, you've got the bribe, you're going to try and high roll, you've got guards. Now there were people at Euroball that just took 6 mighty blow. Mr. Page took it in the World Championship. It was pretty funny. I still think maximising guard is a better way of doing it, right? More hits, and rather than just trying to get lucky with mighty blow. I am trying to get lucky with mighty blow though with the block troll. Block mighty blow, you know, that's pretty strong. Or you've got the non-loner mighty blow for other hits. We've got the apothecary. It does offer something a little bit different to lizard men, but I generally think they're just worse. I'll be honest with you. For NAF style, I feel like NAF style lizard men generally get enough stuff, and Black Orcs look a bit tame in comparison. But at least we've got the angle of the fouling, the bribe, and, you know, could actually just take 6 mighty blow and, you know, play it for giggles. But we, you know, can have a look at the formations here as well. So this is kind of like, you know, a standard offensive formation, protecting the goblins here, particularly the sneaky git. We've got a rookie to go out and get the ball. We've got the mighty blow and the block and the troll. They're all going to hit diagonally on the LOS. This is just versus like a 3 central LOS thing. Again, offensive formations are not, you know, uniformly applicable because they're completely reliant on the game state and how your opponent sets up, etc., etc. So this is just an example. The things you want to think about are who's going to get the ball, who am I defending against a blitz result, how am I defending people flooding my backfield, all that sort of stuff is, you know, it's just an example. It's definitely not something to always set up in, right? But defensive though, you can set up in these kind of things. These are more applicable because these are just, you know, more generic. So this is if you really have to stop a 2-turn touchdown because it's exposing your goblins. You don't really want to set up like this very often because it does expose your goblins, because it kind of has to, right? You want to, the weak points of chevrons are the interior, you know, this interior spot and the exterior spot. So we want those held by guard Black Orcs, and then we've got, oh no, actually the exterior held by the guards and the interior the block and the mighty blow, because then they can react more to blitz, whereas one of these won't, right? They can probably go down one side. We've got the troll and the Black Orcs on the LOS. Now there is something you could do here where you could bring everything forward. Oh, there's the sneaky git protected. You could bring everything forward, and you could maybe even move these, right? So this would be less of a weakness if you're against like an agility team that couldn't deal with the LOS. So there's things you could do, but then they could still just power this guy and dodge on a 2+. So that's still probably a bad idea. So, but you could go aggressive chevrons, right? Take this up 1 square, and then now they really can't deal with your line. So that's an alternative, but then you're somewhat weak to quick snap, right? And versus elves, they're definitely going to play into that. So I actually wouldn't recommend that particularly, and that's why that isn't the setup, right? I think 2 squares back is generally safer, but there will be times when you'd want to move that line up. Now this is a pretty interesting one. This is probably the default one. This is when you're the heavier team. It makes it very difficult for people to get hits on you. They've got to commit a lot to the LOS if they even can, right? They need strength 4 players and guard to be hitting you. They can't step it in here. You've got your mighty blow and your block guys are at the edges, so they've got guard in here, so these are not easy to deal with. All these 4 guards are all the ones presenting. You've got a goblin here, so their push directions are bad. When they're hitting, like they probably can't clear you off the LOS. And then you've got your sneaky git is here, kind of protect as he can be. I mean, I guess you could do things like drop these back 1 or something to completely protect him, but then you're obviously more chance of them running around and hitting your goblins. So probably in here is better, but again, everything's situational, right? Depends what kind of race you're playing. But versus most teams, this is generally okay, because you're mostly going to be the heavier team, and they're mostly not going to be able to deal with your LOS. If they can deal with your LOS, then the cups is a standard formation of lizard men, and you can kind of use it, just not as effectively, because you're Black Orcs and not lizards. So now we've gone for these on the extreme edges, the mighty blow and the block, and then the guards everywhere else. The idea is that you've got the width, right? Because you're creating width, then first of all they're more likely to blitz the edge ones, in which case block is a defensive skill, and mighty blow means you can stand up and blitz whoever hit you. But also, if they push down here, maybe you'll blitz in, or maybe you'll blitz out. Whatever. I quite like the blitzers being there. And obviously in the centre, then you've got the troll hit, and then you're screening. You've basically, so it's cups, because it's a bit like cups. You've got the width, but also protecting all your goblins. So that is a pretty normal thing to do. You could also like do offset and stuff like, right? You could. I don't recommend it. You could also do something just more generic like this, right? Move them in here, and then really centralize your goblins so that they can't get hit, as easily. Things like this. The important thing is to protect your goblins on defense, right? And the defensive setup, unless you're desperate to stop a score. So you can see these chevrons, we do expose the goblins. If they blitz this goblin, they're not going to progress, right? Let's say they kill this goblin. Let's put him here. Even if they kill this guy, right, that's not helping them get down the sideline or get through here. So that's why your goblins are exposed. But this is really only going to be against two-turn touchdowns. Generally, you're going to go with this kind of formation almost all the time, honestly. But sometimes you could do. We've managed to stray from the cups. But something like this, cups, cups is an okay setup. It does give you a bit of spread. The problem is you're slow, right? Lizards can move from side to side, and Black Orcs can't as much. So that is a problem that Black Orcs have. Yeah. So I guess that's it. So there you go. Hopefully that's good for you. I wouldn't really recommend them, but again, if the package is really good, or if maybe his Lizardsman package is bad, maybe you just like Black Orcs or whatever. But at least there should be something for people here with with the defensive principles and stuff, setup principles, and yeah, hopefully not terrible. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and stay fantastic.